Hey guys, quick disclaimer. The Nosy Hens Podcast talks about content that is not suitable for children and might bring you some discomfort too. This includes violence and abuse of all kinds, strong language, and graphic descriptions. Listener discretion is advised. Hey, Rain.
Jazzy.
Y'all, welcome to the chicken coop.
Cluck.
You know, pretty excited.
I am too.
Actually, I'm pissed. I'm going to just keep it real.
Yeah, Jazzy's not feeling her best today. But you know what? Today, and
What?
today's episode that she's going to give us today, our story, our case, hopefully it ain't going to put you in a better mood, but it'll get your mind off.
You know what?
mad
Talking
things.
about true crime does put me in a better mood.
Yeah.
So, but y'all, I'm pissed.
Yeah.
But I emailed my therapist. I advise you to do the same.
Yes.
If you're pissed, talk to somebody about it.
I can't stop laughing because I just don't know what else to do besides chuckle. But I'm here for you, sister friend.
Well, I appreciate that. So let's get into the story.
Yes, ma'am. What is we talking about today? What is we talking about?
Do you remember the time?
Yeah.
That I
I was about to go ahead and sing. Sorry. Rest in peace, Michael Jackson.
Uncle Michael.
Yes.
Do you remember the time that I talked to you about Derek D. Gobert from Boys in the Hood?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, there was another guy from Boys in the Hood that is also deceased due to the lifestyle that he led.
Jesus.
His name is Lloyd Avery Jr. Do you know who that is?
No.
So Lloyd Avery Jr. is the guy who shot, what was his name? Pookie?
Ricky.
Ooh, y'all, listen.
The dude with the light brown eyes.
Yes.
He was very attractive.
He was attractive, but he was like scary looking. Like,
Yeah,
he
was.
really played his part well.
Yeah, he looked like he'll punch you in your face if you
Well.
said something bad to him.
Oh, well, since you mentioned that, let's just go ahead and get into this story about Lloyd Avery Jr.
I'm ready, sis. Let me sit back.
Sit back.
I got me a slushie from the Quick Trip. It's delicious. It's white cherry and blue raspberry mix.
It looks good.
It's perfect. I should have brought you one.
No, you
just
shouldn't have.
anyway.
You know what? Yeah. Because you
just-
know what?
I should have just brought you one.
Okay. Lloyd Avery Jr. was born on June 21st, 1969 in L.A.
That is my little cousin Larry's birthday.
Aw, that's nice. So, shout out to little Larry. So, he and John Singleton, who is the creator of Boys in the Hood, they were childhood friends, and that's how, Avery came to do that cameo role in Boys in the Hood, which it says cameo, but
that was a role.
that was an iconic role, even for just that little bit of time.
Right.
Because I just remember the look on his face.
Right.
When he was getting ready to take Ricky out.
Ricky!
So, Lloyd was also into music, and he produced the single called Push for Tisha Campbell on her debut album.
That song that they push. You got to push. Come on now, push.
And he's like, push it harder, Gina.
Oh my God.
And she was like, push. You got to. Yeah.
That's that song that she always be doing on the social medias and things.
Oh, yeah. I'll be following
Yeah.
her on social media. Girl.
Yeah.
I don't like social media.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to get out of my bad mood now. Back to the story. So I had no idea when Gina sang that on the Martin show that was an actual song. That was like her actual single.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, because she been singing since Little Shop of Horror.
I do know
Bop,
that.
shabop, never take a bad.
Well, anyway, I listened to the rest of her album, and that was a good album.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Gina. So, Avery, of course, played the trigger man that shot Ricky, and he played that part well because he just looked super mean, super scary,
super intimidating.
And it was a small, but it was like a big part of the movie. Everybody remembers that part. That was his debut in film. And he went on to do other short stints on like the show, like Doogie Howser.
He was on Doogie Howser?
He was on Doogie Howser. He played a small part also in Poetic Justice, which is also by John Singleton. So John Singleton took care. I think I said that last time too. He just took care of his friends, which is cool. But so his final part was in 2000, and it was in this movie called Shot, where he played the part of G-Ride. Have you?
I've never heard of that before.
I haven't either, but I'm going to look it up.
I am too.
Yeah. But all the characters that he played, they were always like thuggish. And it was said that his role in Boys in the Hood gave him a lot of street cred in real life. And that the line between his character and real life just became blurry.
So I wonder if before, like, was he into that life for real? Like, before the movies?
You know what?
Or did the movies bring that character out of him? Because, you know, some people are method actors. Yeah. And they get stuck.
Girl, every time we discuss something, you pose great questions. Because, listen.
Yes.
His like family, when he became like real gangster after the movie Boys in the Hood, they were like, where the heck did this come from? Because he was actually like kind of shy. He was not that person at all.
So he literally just channeled thuggish.
Yes.
And especially if you said most of his roles that he played were thugs.
Yeah, every role that he played was kind of a thuggish character.
Jeez.
Yeah. So shortly after Boys in the Hood, Lloyd became affiliated with the Actual Blood gang and moved into a hood called the Jungle. And, you know, he even had like jungles tatted above one of his eyes, like on above his eyebrow somewhere.
Jesus.
So he really got into, you know. But like I said, it was a surprise to everybody because he was shy. He was sweet. He was, you know, he was just playful. And then next thing you know, he's like this hard thug gang member.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's just,
you know what, with the and I don't know if he knew the term, or I don't even know if he was like even studying for the role like that, unless, you know, him and John Singleton like worked together to get him prepared.
Yeah.
But it's like when you take on, like we hear about it all the time, like was it Michael B. Jordan, he said when he studied to be Killmonger, he had to go to therapy. Because he was like trapped, because Killmonger's character is basically Lloyd. He's basically that, or not Lloyd, but that thuggish character from L.A.
Right. And you know when Jack Nicholson played the Joker, he said he went a little crazy for real too. Yeah. So that's And me, like, I like to act and would like to act in my future
endeavors.
Yes. But so I guess that's something that you have to be mindful of. Like, if you're going to be an actor, you should probably get a therapist to just go along with, you know, and kind of, you should do that anyway, just so you can make sure that you're staying true to who you are as a person. Right. Yeah. So clearly Lloyd did not do that. So one day, on July 1st, 1999.
On my birthday. I think I turned 14. I turned 14 on that day.
Well, looky here. This is what happened on your birthday. So, according to police reports, Lloyd approached a woman named Annette Lewis and a man named Percy Branch just sitting near Santa Barbara Plaza. It was believed that they had a brief argument over a drug debt when Lloyd Avery Jr., pulled out a .45 caliber pistol and shot Annette first and then shot Percy.
Was it in daylight? What?
In broad daylight. Annette died later that day and Percy a few weeks later due to complications. But
So he was selling drugs too?
Yes. After he got street cred, he went all in.
No, ma'am.
He went all in, yo.
No, ma'am.
Yes.
I feel like the pull on that gun on a 45, I feel like that's heavy. Like the like it'll and it'll probably make a loud boom.
Well, he was like a tall guy. Like he was tall, and was he built?
Not from what I can remember. I remember him being like a slender body.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Man, just from what I saw on TV.
Okay.
I just remember him being slender body.
Yeah, he pulled out a 45, baby.
Golly.
Yes. So check this out. So after that happened, he went on the run, okay? But during his time on the run, he shot 2 movies.
How are you on the run and you filmed 2 more movies?
2 more movies while he was on the run for this double homicide.
Like the cops can't track you down?
Well,
I guess
in
if
the
you're
90s.
Yeah, I guess if you're filming
right. Back in the 90s, they're not tracking cell phones. That's true. They're not, you know what I mean? Like
that's true. Because I'm thinking 2022.
Right. Now he couldn't get away with that.
No, because they'd be like, oh, his phone is leading to a film set.
Right. So he did that. That was pretty gangster.
Golly, the boldness.
The boldness. So he was arrested on December 8th at the end of a police chase. Like he was the bad.
Golly.
To the bone. And he was sentenced to life in prison about a year later. Now, do you think that's the end of the story? No. That's what got him to where this story is going. Okay? We got some things to talk about. So when he went to prison, he quickly realized that this lifestyle that he had been living, it wasn't for him.
He got in prison. Was like, mama. Mama.
Yeah.
Mama.
And I can't blame him. Yeah.
Okay, I would never.
I don't think I would make it past booking. Like,
girl.
Yeah.
Girl.
They put one handcuff on me and I'm crying.
I'm crying. Let me tell you something. I get nervous if they ask on the questionnaire at the doctor's office, do you feel sick? And I'm like, do I feel? I overthink that stuff because I don't want to go to jail. Not that that's going to send you to jail, but I feel like it would. That's an official question.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Jeez, he shot 2 people in daylight and then went to prison and was like,
oh, this ain't it.
This ain't me.
This ain't it.
But you just blew up 2 people.
He did.
And you went and filmed 2 films.
He did. And got caught from a police chase. Like he was like, yeah, I ain't finna catch me. But they caught him.
And then got to jail and said, yeah, this life ain't for me. You did the crime. Now you gotta do the time. Jesus.
Okay, but here's the thing though, like this is good. He turned his life around.
Good.
He did a complete 180 and
probably went back to his normal who he really was.
Right, true to himself, right? So he
that's became that prison had to make him turn like that.
Yeah. It happens a lot that way where you hit rock bottom and then, you ain't got nowhere to go but
right. Right.
Yeah. So he went to from a gangster to devout Christianity and earned the nickname Baby Jesus in prison.
Aw.
Now here's this. Enter Kevin Roby. Do you know who that is?
No.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't.
I don't know who that person is at all.
Yeah, so Kevin Roby. Now this guy, he sounds like he's always been crazy. Always. So when he was 23, he dropped out of the Air Force and he was living at home and he was just a bum. Okay. Now, on January 31st, 1987, detectives were called to Kevin's mom's house on West 37th Street in LA. And according to Kevin, his older sister, and I don't want to butcher her name, Velma Lynn, I think is her name, Velma Lynn Hill, had been abducted by 3 men dressed as Japanese ninja warriors. This is according to Kevin.
What?
Yes.
That sounds fake.
It does. And you know what? And I'm finna go off on a tangent real quick because it is my biggest pet peeve when people do a crime and then they blame it on somebody of another race.
That is what I'm saying.
It pisses me off to no end.
It pisses me off that someone does a crime and then they don't want to admit to it.
They don't, right?
Like, but you had how are you scared to get caught?
Right. When you have the cojones to do it.
To do it.
But
Girl.
then you want to blame it on somebody and you want to blame it on. I understand why they would do it because it's farther away from them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're looking for somebody else, but still, don't be a coward. So detectives had him walk through the kidnapping crime scene, and when they reached the end, they found Velma Lynn in a large trash can, buried underneath some dog food. I kid you not.
Wait.
I kid you not.
So Bobby called the cops and said, my sister was kidnapped by
some Japanese
ninja warriors that we see on TV that be doing all the tricks and stuff.
I love that show.
Amazing.
American Ninja Warrior and regular Ninja Warrior. That show is all that.
They give me motivation to go work out, which I'm not going to do. But so he says that they come and take her. Mm-hmm. But then
he takes them through the entire crime scene and leads them to the body.
What?
He's not there.
No.
He's not there.
And then you contaminated the poor dog food.
Uh-huh.
I mean, sorry to Velma Lynn.
Put her underneath the dog food.
What?
Yeah. Just crazy. So obviously he was arrested.
Well, yeah.
As it was suspected that he was the one who murdered his sister. And an autopsy showed that Velma Lynn had died an extremely violent death.
Oh, no.
She was raped twice.
No.
By her own brother.
No.
Now, she had she had a different last name, so they probably had different dads. But still.
Yeah.
You raped your sister, dude. It's still incest.
Jeez.
She was sodomized. She was strangled. This led him to be convicted in May of 1998 at a non-jury trial.
Well, yeah, because you did it.
Right. And to add on to this, Kevin was also charged with raping another sister. So hold
on. So was the charge for the second sister, was that, so they just found that out during his, I wonder, like if they find it out during his trial?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's how that happened. And so he was sent to Supermax facility Pelican Bay State Prison to serve a life sentence without the possibility of parole, which good riddance.
Right.
Right?
You just stuff your sister in dog food.
Some people just do not need any second chances.
No.
And so he was one of them. And just like the demon that he is, at some point during his incarceration, Kevin took an interest in Satanism.
Of course.
Of course. So Kevin, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm looking at my notes and I said Kevin and Satan were thick as thieves. They were ace boom coons. You know what I mean?
My bestie. That's my best friend.
Right.
He's a real bad demon.
Wow. So yeah. Y'all help us. So they were thick as thieves. So Kevin threw out any other beliefs that he might have had before and just became a full-on Satanist.
Did he have any other beliefs?
Now listen to this. The motherfudger called himself the satanic Christ. I feel bad even saying something like that. Like,
right.
Lord forgive me, because I just want to smack the hell out of him. Literally.
Right.
I do.
So hard.
So now on March 2001, Lloyd Avery Jr. then arrives to Pelican State Bay. And at the time, he had already been a devout Christian.
Right.
And Kevin's ass had been in a cell by himself this whole time. But after a few years of Lloyd arriving, then the people at Pelican Bay thought it was a good idea to just get them to bunk together. A Satanist and a Christian.
Why? For peer camaraderie?
That's exactly my question. Like, why would you do that?
I think you guys would make a really good duo.
Like,
this roommate thing with you two specifically, is gonna work. It sounds like a setup.
It's beyond it. Come on. This is what I mean. She just gets all my stories and she gets everything that I'm about to say. And we did not plan this.
No.
She hasn't heard this story. But yeah. Yeah. Sounds like a setup.
Mm-hmm.
So, sensing an opportunity in these new living arrangements, Lloyd Avery Jr., the devout evangelical, believed that he had been given a quest. Oh, yes. Quote, he's saying, quote, "I know God has him around me for a reason. He knows very well that I'm a devout Christian, and I pray for him to the Lord every day that he gives his life to God." He wrote this in a letter to a friend that was a chaplain named Dennis Clark, and that was in August of 2005. No. Now that's sweet. That's optimistic.
Let me tell you something.
But
you bunk me in a bunk with a bunkie that that is bunking to Satan.
Yeah. And you know what? And I am a firm believer of coexisting with people of different religions, but there's no goodness out of the Satanism religion. That's like they believe all bad. Don't they?
I don't know.
I mean, I ain't fixing to find out.
Right. But what I do know is, cause I ain't knocking nobody's religion. If that's what you want to do, go ahead and float on.
Yeah.
Doom. But I'm not getting ready to look. I mind my business.
Right.
I drink my water.
Right.
And I keep my pH balanced. So I don't think, brother, you about to get these thoughts and prayers that the country keep giving out to people that's getting shot up in the street. Okay, that's what you getting, thoughts and prayers. I don't think I even want to.
Yeah, I.
And if he's been, so I'm assuming, another assumption, I'm guessing that Lloyd didn't know that this man was in, I guess he was in solitary confinement. They just decided.
Yes, he had no roommates until they put Lloyd with him. I mean, and it's just like, who thought that was a good idea?
Right.
It does. It screams setup.
Right.
It really does.
Right. Because I'd be like, hey, do you think I'm the wrong person for this?
Yeah, it's just
as soon as I would. Let me tell you something. The Lord is still working on my fears, but that would be a fear that I'm like, oh Lord, I don't think this one is mine. I don't think this is my assignment, Lord.
Right.
Let me go ahead and run away if it means I'm gonna get punished.
Right.
Let me go ahead and get punished, and we'll come back around to it when we come back around to it, and I might have to get punished again. But no, sir.
Yeah. So that was very noble of Lloyd, but it doesn't turn good from there. So, according to prison reports, on the evening of September 4th, 2005, it was a battle of their, religious beliefs that turned violent. Now, Kevin Roby bludgeoned and choked Lloyd Avery Jr. unconscious.
What did he bludgeon him with?
His fists. Yeah. See, Kevin Roby, from the picture, he was he was thick. I don't know the height, but he was pretty thick. He looked, and then you gotta take in consideration that he already had a violent past, so he was. But Avery did too. But,
but I don't think his was as extreme as special. Whatever man
Special K.
I don't think that Lloyd's violence wasn't. I feel like his violence was it did grow, but I don't think it was.
And you know
psychotic.
What? It's a difference between gangbanging violence and like straight up like gangbangers. And I might get some flack for saying this, but gangbangers, they're shooters. They're not usually fist fighters.
Yeah. Well, no, they I think they do fist fight. They are fist fighters.
They only fist fight to jump people into their crew. They don't fist fight in real life.
Shooting
unless you caught off guard.
Yeah.
And they fist fight and then they come back and shoot.
Right.
I mean, that's just it is what it is.
But someone that physically
like he had already been beating people up, had already been strangling people, so he bludgeoned him with his fist. And when Lloyd Avery was unconscious, he continued to beat him.
What?
He continued to beat him. Did
no one hear?
Listen,
they didn't hear the scuffle or the clinks.
This is what I'm saying. Listen, so much so that Lloyd's lungs filled with more than enough blood to cause his death.
What?
So it was bad. It was bad. And this is where I continue to get pissed off. Like, I'm already pissed off. Like, they never should have been together. Period.
Right. And then once you heard,
they don't put Bloods and Crips together. So why are you going to put a Satanist and a Christian together? It just make sense.
But then also someone that's been in solitary for years, and then all of a sudden he needs a roommate.
Yeah.
Or a cellmate.
It's just screaming. It's just screaming setup.
And no one heard.
No one heard. So after killing him, Kevin placed his body back in his bed under the covers, where he would go undetected for nearly 2 whole days.
What is excuse me, huh? Can you hear me? What's the point of having the position of a correctional officer if you do not do your job?
There had to be so much corruption just going on. There had to be.
It had to be.
So, so they did not detect that for 2
days?
2 days.
2 days.
Yeah. Just
so
crazy.
They weren't doing, how they go down the thing and their cell count or whatever.
Yeah, listen. See, you always ahead of me, girl. I love it. There were 11 inmate counts during that time.
11?
11, including a standing count on one day. And the COs just counted Lloyd, thinking he was asleep the whole time. So you mean to tell me that you tell everybody, stand up, we fixing to count you. You're the one in control, and you see an inmate not listening to you, and he gonna do what he want to do, and you just going, okay, well, he just wanted to stay asleep,
right?
Even
and
though
for
I told
2
him.
days, and for 11 counts,
11.
no one thought, we probably need to go in there and like check. It just be like the lack of common sense for me.
It really, yeah.
The lack of common sense. I feel like, and I ain't trying to knock your job if you are a CO. But I really feel like that's one of those jobs that's like, it's like a McDonald's job. Like, man, I just need this so I could just, get a little money in my pocket.
Yeah.
Because it seems like,
at least at Pelican Bay.
right. But I mean, it seems like it's like that at Riker, like all the big ones.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, so it seems like you really, what you got this, what did you get into this field for?
Exactly.
Is it so that you can feel a sense of power because you're definitely not helping anyone?
Mm-mm.
You're basically a glorified babysitter for criminals.
Right.
So why is it that you can't, if you see someone laying, if you count them 11 times and they're just laying in the same spot.
He sleep.
And not once are you like, no, he was asleep the last time. Wake up because we need to see you.
That's my thing. And okay, so I like to watch a lot of prison documentaries, and they don't care if you sleep, if you on the toilet, if you cremated. If they tell you to get your ass up,
you better ASAP.
You getting up.
Not cremation, not the urn.
Girl,
here.
They like, yeah,
my
you better get up
here.
out that urn. You better get up out that damn urn. I told y'all asses.
Get to it, chop.
It's count.
Chop.
So Kevin's fat ass is sitting up there eating his food rations, okay, during this time. He's just like acting like nothing is going on. And Kevin started to write one of Lloyd's pen pals trying to flirt with her. Dude is crazy.
Oh my God.
Like, dude is crazy. I hope he has no access to any kind of cell phones or anything and listens to the Nosy Hens podcast.
Okay.
Because, dude, your ass is crazy and I don't need you to come try and find me.
Okay. I mean, sir,
Yeah.
he ain't dead yet? Oh, you said life, not death.
No, you're right. He got life without the possibility of parole.
It sucks.
So in his, yeah, right? In his own recollection of the murder, Kevin told prison officials that he had tied a piece of string around one of Avery's arms and tugged it to imitate movement. Like a
ventriloquist doll?
Yes. Yes, in order to fool the guards into believing that Avery was still alive. Okay, so that'll give you a little bit of slack, but not much.
Not much,
because like I said, when they say stand up, you stand up.
You stand up, not wave a hand. And then 2 days, rigor mortis has set in. So how are you jerking with the string and his arms are stiff?
This is the kicker. So listen to this. It would have been more than 2 days had this not happened. So on the day that the guards finally realized that Lloyd Avery Jr. had been murdered, it was because Kevin Roby drew a pentagram on the floor of the cell and he positioned Avery's body in the middle of the pentagram.
Of course he would. Of course. Like, what did the...
So, it's just beyond me. The walls were painted in Lloyd Avery's blood as part of a ritual that Kevin was performing.
Yeah.
And get this.
Yeah.
He said that he performed a ritual as a warning to God that when he dies and becomes a part of the spiritual realm, he was going to get at God next. Really, bish?
So
really?
He was crazy.
Yeah, he was beyond. Cause really? So he thought he was the devil. Like he ended up. They were that close that he just thought he turned into the devil. He was the devil himself. Because
I mean, did him and the devil have like brunch or something, and they discussed this?
they had something. They ain't had no brunch because he was sitting up there eating Lloyd's food.
Ah, that's true.
But they done had something.
He was gonna get back at God. I mean, he was gonna get God. He was gonna kill God.
He was like, you next, God. Yeah. Who are you, dude?
What? Who
are you? Who are you?
People.
And it's
and also, it's like, well, what would be the point of that? What would be the point of you just targeting God like, you my next victim on the list? What's the point of you targeting God when you don't know if
I don't know
if God, you don't know God
exactly.
So what's the point of you getting back at him for, or what?
Girl,
I feel strange even saying it.
I know. I'm saying prayers before I go to bed tonight because I don't even want no nightmares.
Okay, so hard.
So they arrested him, of course. Like you get arrested in prison, and
they put him in solitary confinement.
This is what blows me away. They took Lloyd's body to the infirmary where they tried to perform CPR.
Of course they did.
On. It's just like, okay. So
they tried to perform. So that lets me know that in the prison system, which we already know is jacked up in America anyway, but that lets me know that the people that are working in these positions, not all, but some, are incompetent. And they have people there that may not have complete knowledge. So maybe instead of having like a doctor, like an actual doctor that works in the infirmary, they may have like, what's the levels of nurses? Because I know you have like the nurse practitioner that can work as a doctor, but they can't do everything like a doctor. Yeah. So you have like that one, then you have like the registered nurse, and then you have like the LPN, and then like a CPN. Is that what it is? Yeah. Not LP. I think that's accounting.
Girl, don't get me on the alphabets. I can't.
Right. But so you got level 1 nurse, then you got level 2 nurse.
Well, then you also
you got level 1 nurse.
Well, you also have whatever level they are. It's like 1-2 nurses for freaking 500, 600 inmates.
So they're overworked and underpaid. Yeah. And they might not know how to do certain things. Yeah, but once again, I talk because we appreciate y'all nurses that go out there and help and save and give your all to people in the hospitals, because I couldn't do it. Somebody got to do it, but I ain't doing it. So thank you for your services. But it's like just having, the ones that don't really care, or the ones that, they're just not at that level that you need to. So, because why would you try to perform CPR
on a decomposing
body, one that's a health hazard? Because bacteria and gases that are coming, so I guess they had to do that. Because I ain't putting my mouth on there. No. Secondly, why would you try to perform? Why did you think, we should probably try to perform CPR on this dead body? Right. Why would you think that? Did you not see? Right. It's like, did you not see by like just the process or the days, the decomposition process in the day? Did you not see that it was way past saving? Yeah. So was that to just cover things up? Because I know a lot of things go on in the prison, and things happen, and everybody pretty much knows what the program is. I come here, I work at this prison, but I got to make sure I shut up on this, and this because it might backfire on me.
Yeah.
So they all try to.
Well, guess what, girl? So, speaking of cover-up, the family of Lloyd Avery Jr., they decided to do a private autopsy because they didn't believe anything that Pelican Bay had to say.
Wouldn't.
And so the autopsy actually described like a 1.5 inch abrasion on his temple, and that suggested either a blow due to a flat surface such as a hammer or an impact on a similar type surface. So like maybe banging his head to the ground or something.
Or like maybe the rail. I don't know I don't know if they have bunks or if they have like a bed over here,
Right.
And those are metal cot like beds,
Right.
So it's like he banged his head on that, or I'm pretty sure they had a toilet in there, so that's another thing. A sink, that's another thing,
right? So I guess whoever did the autopsy though kind of like led them to believe that it really kind of looked like a hammer as far as the abrasion. So that caused the family to believe that Kevin had help.
Could be.
Yeah. Like he could have been given, a hammer.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's no evidence to prove that. So
but Kevin also seems like the person that would, even though he did what he did to cover up what he did, he also sounds like the type of person that wouldn't want to give anyone else credit for something that he did, especially if he was trying to use his dead body as a sacrifice.
Right. Yeah. So there was an investigation at Pelican Bay, which of course, they said that they didn't find any evidence that the correctional officers played a part. Yeah, of course. So this is where it just gets sadder. And you know what? I always say that to you when I'm telling you stories. I'm like, can it get worse? Yes. Can it get sadder? Yes. So Lloyd's family urged the local authorities to file charges against Kevin Roby. But the DA of Del Norte County, refused to press charges, saying that Roby confessed to the trial or to the murder, and so he wasn't eligible for the death penalty.
What?
Yeah.
How does that work? Is that just a prison system thing? I wonder. That's something that we got to look up.
Yeah.
Is that a prison thing where if you're already in prison and you're life without parole, that you can't be sentenced to death because he assaulted someone and killed someone,
right?
And if they can still arrest you in prison, why can't they charge you for any crime that you do in prison?
Yeah. So
I mean, they do, but
is it that if you confess, then you're automatically given leniency?
That could be it.
Yeah, it could be. But it was, of course, his family, Lloyd's family, were devastated. And so they appealed and the appeal was denied. So it's just sad all around. So then after that, his family tried to get a wrongful death lawsuit going. But the NAACP, this is what is really sad. The NAACP and Johnny Cochran's law firm both decided to pass on representing them. And why? Like, that was completely wrong.
Right. Like that's
open and shut. Like, why don't you?
Right.
Yeah.
Because then that means that the NAACP. When I think of the NAACP, I think of boomers, black boomers. And we know how most older black people at that time, even up till now, how they acted and how they still act.
Yeah.
Where it's I don't want to be associated with those thugs.
Yeah.
I don't want to be associated with those thugs. That's thuggish stuff. But you're supposed to be there to help black people or people that look like you, people in your community.
Period. Yeah.
because they didn't know that man. They didn't know. Yeah, he had, a troublesome. The reason why he was there is because, he was going through some troubling times or whatever. Seemed like he was trying to find himself. And then he resulted in him going to prison, and he changed. It's like y'all didn't get a chance to even try to get to know this man so that you can help him.
Right. Just
y'all
sad.
Not listening to the family. It's just a thing of high profile names and what it looks like to the public. Yeah. And then I'll decide if I want to help. And that's not fair to me.
It's not. It's not at all. So, of course, Lloyd Avery Jr.'s family, they were just so disappointed. But something did happen. Another investigation took place. And this was done by the California Inspector General's office. And it was like an independent review. And the investigation,
I feel like in positions that are overworked like that, a lot of the times companies and corporations don't take the time to like try to fill multiple seats of that one position so that things can get turned over quickly. Because you were saying that, what were you just saying? You were just saying this. I'm having a brain fart.
Oh, well, what happened was actually there was another investigation. It was an independent review, and this was done by the California Inspector General's office. And so they took a look into his death and the conduct of the correctional officers, which absolutely they should have. It took a while, but the report was released in 2007, and it found that the correction officers they failed to follow basic procedures and guidelines, such as removing Lloyd's body. They removed his body before photographing the crime scene, which that's suspicious in itself.
To me, it's the lack of, like you said, basic knowledge. And because these corporations and these private correctional institutions or private financed institutions, they don't take the time. It literally is them going in and, this is what you do, this is what you do, this is what you do. Good training, see you tomorrow. And not, this is how we do it correctly to make sure we cover ourselves, make sure that we protect ourselves and protect our inmates. But to me, how are you still getting funding for these institutions? How are you still getting funded and you're doing literally the bare
you know why? Because they make money off of, like, a lot of people make money off of prisons.
It's a for-profit.
So that's the reason why.
But my thing is, if I'm an investor, and not that I would ever do this, but if I'm an investor, just thinking from a financial standpoint, if I'm an investor and I invest in a privatized correctional facility, I want to make sure that I get a good return on my money that I invested. Therefore, I want to make sure that things are running right. I want to make sure that the people that are working there are going to make sure that my money is coming back to me. I'm not going to try to cut costs, because the more you do that, and then the more like you start getting investigated and things like that, then you get shut down. Now my money's messed up. I don't know if that's how it works for correctional institutions. And, if the government, I don't know if they are part of it, but
like, here's the thing, like, all over America, I don't know about over the world. I'm sure over the world too, but all over America, prisoners are neglected. Now, as humans, everybody should get some rights, whether you're a prisoner, that doesn't make a difference. Like, you should be treated humanely. And so they're not doing that. And that's a common occurrence. Now, should Kevin Roby be treated humanely?
I mean, he didn't act like a human.
Exactly.
But geez.
So they found that there have been some wrongdoing for that. And for the fact that they, it had been 38 hours before they found that something was wrong.
Right.
So this independent investigation, thank God for it, because it allowed the Avery family to appeal again. And 5 officers were found guilty
of
misconduct.
Of course.
And so what happened was they received disciplinary actions ranging from a 5% pay cut for upwards of 45 days, and then like a 10% pay cut for like a full 6 months. So good for them.
Yeah, they weren't gonna fire them, that's for sure, because it's already people that's already a job don't nobody want to do.
Right.
It's low pay and it's overworking.
Right.
And no overtime most of the time.
Yeah. To me, I feel like they probably should have got fired.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, and Lloyd Avery's mom said that too. She just felt like what they got was like a slap on the wrist.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. I don't understand why there are certain punishments put in. Well, I do understand why, but I don't think it's fair that punishments are set in place and are like presented. This is what will happen if this happens to you, or if you do this or disobey the rules.
Yeah.
And then, all of a sudden, out of desperation, places are like, well, I mean, we could bend the rules a little bit because it is our rule. It just
no, but for the safety of everybody, like when you're doing inmate counts, you can't slack on that.
Right.
For the safety of everybody. So then if you're not doing that right, then you need to be fired.
Right.
You need to be fired.
Right. Especially from an infant. Did you know that prisoners in most states, well, in all states, prisoners, it costs, well, I don't know, exactly, but it could cost a year's salary for one working person, to take care of one prisoner.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Or the cost of a semester at a college. It could cost that much. But it's like, well, how? What is that $20,000 a year going towards?
Right.
What is that $30,000 going to? Are you guys making sure they have hygiene things?
Right.
Without charging them an arm and a leg?
Right.
So I can go on and on about the prison system, but it's not about the prison system. It's about Chef Boyardee taking a life that is Lloyd Avery.
Yeah. So we're coming to the end. I just have like a few things to say about the correctional officers. Like there was one correctional officer that was interviewed. He didn't do anything, but they were interviewing him like about the situation, and he said that missed counts are not uncommon.
No.
But my thing is, if that's the case, then y'all have a serious problem.
You really do.
You have a serious problem.
Really do.
There should never be a missed count.
Because somebody could escape and you would never know.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
You would never know.
This is what he said. He says, these prisoners are assholes. They aren't nice people. So you're trying to get your count done, and there's one person who refuses to stand. Are you going to count him? That's what he said. And then he's like, we like a quiet day. We cherish a quiet day. I know all these officers involved in this case. They didn't do this on purpose. Was it lazy? Sure.
We like a nice peaceful day. Well, you probably should go get a desk job.
Exactly.
And not a correctional officer's job.
Exactly.
They are assholes. Yes, we know. People that are in prison, they're in prison for a reason. So yes, they definitely are assholes. But you signed up for a job.
That's it.
And that is your responsibility to follow through with the responsibilities that come with that job.
That's it. That's all.
And if that means get your ass up so I can make sure that you're alive and well so that I can count you and do my report and do it accurately, that's what you need to do.
That's it.
How is it? I guess because they've been doing it so long, it's ingrained in them.
Right.
That's just like somebody that half-ass works a desk job for real. Like, you half-ass, and then someone new comes in that's excited about starting this new job and this new career path, and then they're taking up all of the slack from the one person that's half-assing. And it's not even the people. I'm not talking about the people that just come and they do, what they need to do, what they job descriptions say. Because let me tell you, you pay me to do this. You don't pay me to do that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I might go a little bit above the bare minimum, but I'm going to make sure that my stuff is done.
Right.
So that it don't fall on nobody else.
Right. Right.
Because that's your responsibility. If it's too much for you to count, split that shit up. Hey, us four is going to count D block. You take the first 5. I'll take the next 10. You take the last 5. That's how you break that stuff up.
There needs to be an overhaul. There needs to be a review of your procedures and policies, a review of your staff, and fix it.
Ugh.
Okay, so he went on and he said, do they have absolute regret? Yes. To me, if there's any mystery here, it's why was Roby taken from a single cell status to being in a double? Who cleared it? Prison officials don't clear it. That's management. So,
I agree with you on that. So
exactly.
I definitely agree with you on that.
Right. So then, when Pelican Bay administration was asked about it, they just declined to answer any questions.
Of course, because
they
because they're so far behind probably on stuff.
Yeah. It's terrible. So Kevin Roby is still alive and locked up. And in 2020, he said that he wanted to release a book.
Why?
Called The Satanic Christ.
Why?
The Living Word of Darkness. Like, whoo. You are something else.
There would be people that would purchase that, but my thing is, when I don't know how it works when you do things like that. You make money. Like, where's your money going?
He can't do that.
Are you making? Is your account set up to where it go in your books?
He can't do that. You idiot! He's just like fool. And he wanted it to have 66 chapters.
Of course.
6 sections.
Yep.
And 999 pages.
Uh-huh.
You
999 pages. Nigga, what you got to say for 999 pages? Unless this is going to be in really, really big font.
Nothing. As of now, the book is not in existence.
Yeah, because it was never going to be in existence.
It should never. Yeah. That's just... crazy story, dude. Crazy.
It's
crazy
just every time, like, when you tell stories like this, or when I hear stories like this, I just be thinking, man, like, why can't we just do? How hard is it to just, like you said, do a whole overhaul, just throw the whole prison system away and start over?
They don't have good work ethics. No. Like, a lot of people do just want to do the bare minimum and scrape by. A lot of people do want to do the shady thing and get their money. It's just a sad truth of the world.
But that's a capitalist world for you.
Yeah. So, Now listen. Rest in peace, Lloyd Avery Jr.
Rest in peace.
But this is a fun fact about him. This is just a bonus. So he wrote a movie. He wrote a movie script called G in a Bottle.
G in a bottle.
G in a bottle.
It was supposed to be like a gangster genie, maybe.
Yes. Listen. It was like Kazam. You remember that movie, Kazam? Yeah, the movie where Shaq was a genie. Well, yeah. So this kid finds a bottle and comes out this ex-gang member who changed his ways. And it sounds like it would have been a good movie.
Yes.
That
sounds like that was when he was trying to figure out. He was probably questioning his gangsterisms.
Yeah. So we missed out on probably like a really funny,
a cute little movie.
Right.
Jeez.
So that's it, y'all. Yeah. We hope that you enjoyed this story today.
Yeah, if you guys liked it, go ahead and shoot us an email.
Or slide into our DM.
Yes.
What's our email address?
Yes. It is the Nosy Hens Podcast at gmail.com.
And then we're the Nosy Hens Podcast on Instagram.
Yes.
On
Twitter. And on the Tickle Tacos.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, we appreciate you for joining us in this chicken coop.
Yes, sir. Until next week, episode time.
We'll have something good for you.
Yes.
We always do.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited.
Me too.
Yes. And hold on, before we go.
What?
Before we go.
What?
Is Jess not feeling as pissed anymore?
You know, I did get into a better mood.
See?
Talking about true crime will do that to you.
I know,
Am
right?
I weird?
No, it's the freshness of murder stories in the afternoon.
Oh gosh, I feel so morbid.
So, so until next time, guys. Goodbye.